All right. So next thing we're going to do is I want to share my screen here real quick. But we're going to hear from Capstone, which is super exciting. They've got a lot of new stuff happening. All right. So I think Eric Fitzgerald and Mackenzie Jones are on, and they're going to probably take the screen back away from me and share with you everything that they're doing. This is one of the companies that has done some real innovation in the pandemic and is trotting out new stuff that is really amazing. So I can't wait to hear all about it. Hi, Eric.
Hi, Leilani. How are you?
Hi, good, good. It's warm and nice in California, and looking forward to hearing from you guys.
Well, thanks so much, Leilani. It was great to hear from Dr. Garthard right up the street from us in St. Paul. We're actually based in Edina and in Mankato, Minnesota. And I'm Eric Fitzgerald. I'm here to share with you a new product from Capstone. It is Capstone Connect. And it's really sort of tied into what we've been hearing a lot about connecting and engaging students and creating, adding content into a lot of the environments that people are teaching in now people have been teaching in, but I think it sort of drove to the forefront those platforms. Before I dive in too much into the new product, I want to just share who we are. I think I always like to know about the companies and the people that I'm involved in. And so if I could, I'll just sort of give you an overview of Capstone. I think the big news here is almost everybody on this call already has Capstone in your school. We are in Minnesota. The state of Minnesota purchased several of the Pebble Go modules for all the Minnesota schools and kids at home and wherever they are. Also, North Dakota as a state purchased some modules of Pebble Go statewide. And for our Wisconsin friends, we're in about 72% of the schools in Wisconsin. So you already know us. You already have a lot of our products, and some of the ones I'm going to talk about today are already installed in every school in your state. So excited to sort of make you aware of that and run through who we are, and then tell you about our new product. So first off, making learning fun since '91. That we sort of like to be lighthearted and we like to have a good time doing what we do. When I heard there's two Dr. Joes between yesterday and today. So my friend Joe San Filippano, slaughtering that. Hearing his stories, really made me think about how important it is to sort of be engaged and to believe in what you're doing. And we like to sort of frame it out as making learning fun. Really what the core of that mission is to Capstone is we are all reluctant readers. We believe that. If I hand you the manual for my computer printer, you will suddenly become a reluctant reader. If I pick up my wife's book that has complex relationships and a really great story for her, I'm not interested. So I think the core of what we do at Capstone is we believe everyone is a reluctant reader. And so what we try and do is approach educational topics from multiple directions. So we do a graphic novel. We might have a graphic novel on the physics of skateboarding. We have excellent fiction that has lots of social emotional learning embedded right in there. So we're coming at education from a way that is appealing and fun for kids. And that's kind of at the base of what we do. We also believe reading is for everyone. And we started as a high-low sort of books for boys, right? The kids that don't like to read, that's the kid that we reach out to. And that was where we originally started, is publishing books for kids that maybe weren't as interested in reading. The other piece to that is we recently became compliant with Pebble Go and Pebble Go Next with the 508, ADA Section 508 compliance. So we're AA compliant on the accessibility for our technology. So that's something we live every day and we have been. And then the last piece about us is we are a very inclusive company. We've always tried to build mirrors and windows into our books and have very representative content. And so that is something that's near and dear to our hearts and has been for quite some time. And also being, as Dr. Gothard said, being in Minnesota and very close to a lot of the events that took place, it sort of drove home how important our mission that we've been living for a while was to make sure that we're representing everyone. So as I said, we're in most of the schools that are represented on this call already, but we're probably the biggest company that you know, but you don't know, So on the left here, you'll see some of our brands, and I'll talk about the digital brands across the top in a little bit. But I also wanted to call out just if you've seen a book that was Warner Brothers, Scooby-Doo, if you've seen a DC comic with Batman or with Superman or with Wonder Woman, that was probably us. Sports Illustrated for kids in book form, probably us. Smithsonian is another example of a partnership we do for writing about educational science. So we're sort of a portfolio company. We have lots of different ways that we try to meet kids where they are and educators where they are. The first big one is we are one of the largest print book publishers in America, and you can see on the left there some of those brands that we publish under. We're also Pebble Go, which, as I said, has been purchased by 2 of the states and the majority of the schools here on this call. And then also interactive books. And we've also done a lot of really interesting work with Amazon Alexa, as well as Google, and done some voice first educational things that are in those devices right now in kids' homes and classrooms. So to sort of dive into Pebble Go, and what I'm trying to do here is give you some context for this new product that we have that's designed for synchronous and asynchronous learning, really trying to embed content for educators. The first major component of what I'm going to talk about is Pebble Go. And Pebble Go is the one that most of you, pretty much almost everyone on this call has access to already. And Pebble Go is a database for kids, and it's designed around all of the state standards. And I'll show you a live demo, so we don't need to go too deep into it. But I do want to point out on this screen that it is designed for a very responsive design. And that allows us to work on a telephone all the way up to a smart board in a classroom. We also have Pebble Go Next, which is a similar product, but for older kids. So that's designed for grades 3 through 6. And then Capstone Interactive, which is the largest ebook collection that has live voice audio in it and multi-user. All of these are multi-user, sort of unlimited use. So you can have 30 kids doing a report on the exact same book at the exact same time, or 100 or 1,000 or a state. So a very open platform. So sort of all that brings me to the point here, which is Capstone Connect. And I'm really excited to unveil that here to this group. Leilani's been bragging about all of you and knowing some of the folks that have already gone before me. I know this is true that there's some real thought leaders that are involved in this organization. And so we're excited to share and get your feedback. So with Connect, what we're trying to do is surface all of this content. As one of the largest content producers in the US, and for that matter, the world. We really want to make sure we're meeting educators where they are and doing what they're doing now, making sure we're supporting that mission. And so what we've looked at a lot is sort of what are the ways that educators are not only coping with the current situation, but what was happening before with education, and where do we think it'll end up when it's done. And we know that every school district is adopting some sort of tools and strategies for delivering lessons and content remotely now for some, and live for others, and hybrid for most. And so we looked at a lot of the LMS tools, and there's Canvas and Schoology and Clever is sort of more of an access point. There's another 100 that could be on this list. And actually right now, 65% of school districts consider Google Classroom their LMS. So lots of names here and that we're talking about, and lots that we aren't. But those were sort of the targets that we were looking at, is how do we help people to deliver better lessons that are more engaging. Again, our focus is meeting kids where they are and helping teachers and educators be more efficient and make it fun. So beyond those sort of core LMS tools, we also looked at Google Classroom, sort of rides in both of those categories, but the amazing Flipgrid product, which is just so engaging and fun. Seesaw has sort of morphed into being an LMS for young kids and really played a critical role here recently with connecting with younger kids. And then there's creative tools like Buncee and Pear Deck and ThingLink. So you've got these core systems that school districts are employing, and then you've got all these fun ed tech tools that teachers are trying to bring in and liven up their classroom and connect with kids through. And so that's sort of what we were looking at when we were looking at how can we as a content provider really help and make a difference for kids and teachers right now. And so we looked at that environment and we thought, there's one thing that's in common with all of these things, whether it be these heavy duty LMS, really core systems, all the way over to these really fun, engaging ed tech tools. And the common theme with all these is that they are devoid of content. And there was the open resource sort of open educational resource movement, which has been amazing and wonderful, but also sort of led to an outcome where teachers on average are spending 7.6 hours a week trying to find content and create lessons with that content. So OER, while it's amazing, has led to a real challenge with teachers having time. And then obviously there's been some challenges around, is it legal? Is it actually of high quality and worth sharing with kids? And so that's a place that Capstone felt very strongly we could really help and make a difference for people in. And so what we're doing is really surfacing within these environments, really filling those environments up with great quality content that kids love and that meets the state standards and the educational goals of the community. And so in essence, what we've done is surfaced a giant amount of our content and put it into a platform that makes it easy for teachers to create lessons or to embellish existing lessons, to give kids choice and give them some ownership of their learning with a variety of content. But in essence, what we're doing is surfacing that content and then making sure that that can be embedded into any of these tools and thousands more. Basically anything that can hold a URL, which is pretty much everything, we work well with. So to say it a different way, we're taking all of these resources that we've got at Capstone as the largest content producer for education in the United States, and we're really pulling those into a singular experience, really focused on the teacher. And as I said, the average teacher spending 7.5 hours a week. I don't think we can solve that. But I do think if we can take an hour or two out of every teacher's week doing this work in the sort of back office work, when you look at the scale of a school district, particularly a large school district, the impact on the human resources and the capability that we can bring to those teachers to sort of focus on other things, I think we can make a really big difference for folks. And so we're taking all of these content pieces and putting them into a single environment. And from there, it's very simple. A teacher can go and search by their state standards and pull up a list of content. And I'll show you that live in a minute. We also have some really neat new features. We have science and social studies. We also have reading products in here. And we're adding some new features that allow someone to search by Lexile, guided reading, and ATOS level. And that sort of looks like this, where we'll click into which level system you want, and then you pick a grade range, and up comes those products. So real quick here, I'm just going to jump over, and I'm going to show you a video that might explain a little better. Oh, and you know what? I didn't hit sound, so let me do that. Leilani, I was crying yesterday when the first Dr. Joe was talking. What a great great story that was. Thanks for sharing that.
You're welcome. Okay, we see your video.
You spend hours every week finding resources for your students. The right resources. You gather it, you send it, they click it, and get an error. Or have to create yet another login and password. They get frustrated. Their caregivers get frustrated. And you get frustrated. There is an easier way. Introducing Capstone Connect, your one-stop content hub, where you can quickly and easily search and share educationally appropriate, highly engaging Capstone content. Capstone Connect gives you instant access to Pebble Go, Pebble Go Next, Pebble Go Spanish, Pebble Go Read More, Capstone Interactive's collection of ebooks with read aloud audio, and hundreds of other digital learning resources designed for use by both teachers and students. With Capstone Connect, you have thousands of content pieces that are matched to state and national standards right at your fingertips. No matter what ed tech tool you're using, you can give your students direct access to Capstone Connect's content with just a few clicks. Here's how it works. Once you've signed into your Pebble Go account, simply click the Capstone drop-down menu and select Search. Here you can search by either state and national standards or by title and get instant results, which you can organize by type and also preview each item to find the exact content you're looking for. Then just copy the link and directly add it to any EdTech platform to give your students one-click access. No new logins or passwords required. Connecting your students to great resources has never been easier. With Capstone Connect. Go to capstoneconnect.com and click Request More Information to be contacted by your local Capstone representative.
Awesome, thanks. Are you seeing my Pebble Go now, Leilani?
Yes.
Beautiful. Oh, did I get you mid-bite?
Yes, it is a lunch and learn, and I'm having a taco.
I know.
And I am having a taco. So
I think it's a wonderful moment when we have a lunch and learn and I get you mid-bite. What kind of tacos are you having?
Yeah, it's just a beef taco. So, you know.
That's great.
Yeah.
So just to go on to the live product, and happy to show anything anyone wants to see, but this is Pebble Go, and this is what a lot of the folks on the call already have as part of their state or district. Oh.
And I'm an educator innovation lead on team.
I don't know what's going on. I'm getting a little cross chatter. I'm going to try and jump over real quick if you'll excuse me and turn off.
Teacher and kindergarten through 8th grade innovation.
Yeah, there's one of your tabs must be running a video in the background.
My role at Flipgrid is being a teacher helping teachers. I am all about empowering authentic voice for authentic.
There we go. Sorry about that.
You're good.
The joys of Zoom, right?
Yep.
So this is Pebble Go. This is the product that most folks have on the call. And just to give you a sense of Pebble Go, if I click into science, I can go into earth science, whatever I want. We'll do space, we'll do planets, let's look at Mars. And I can get right in with a few clicks. I can get to great content for young kids, broken out by these
Mars
tabs.
Moves.
I also have the ability, and this is true about all these products.
Revolves around the sun more slowly than Earth.
They all have live voice audio, and you can see that it's highlighting the words as we go, and that's kind of a key feature and a key scaffold for fluency and kids to learn to read. It's in essence mimics the same thing. When you're teaching a kid to read, you'd follow and point at each word as you read it. We're emulating that same thing, and it really helps connect the auditory with the words themselves. You can also see that we've got Spanish here. And so with a click of a button, I can flip over and I can play.
Marte gira alrededor del Sol a menor velocidad que la Tierra.
Any of these articles in most of the modules can be just jumped right between English and Spanish and allow kids to use the language they might know to decode the other language. And the use case on this is pretty broad. We see even community colleges purchasing Pebble Go for newcomer families, adults, to learn English. So really broad use case on Pebble Go. We also have sort of article, the ability to link to other things. And then there's a lot of engagements here. I can cite this article. I can also print the article or just that page. And then every one of these articles has some content for kids to share what they know and sort of get engaged with the content, as well as videos. And again, as I said before, this is all 508 compliant, and it's actually AA compliant. And if you know about 508, that's pretty deep compliance. I've now lost my other screen. So that double A is a big deal. And what that allows us to do is, one, it comes with sort of responsive design and makes it work really well with screen readers and other adaptive devices. But it also makes it work really well with a variety of different device types. The other core component of Capstone Connect is this Pebble Go Next, which is for older kids. And I'm kind of on a science kick today. I'll click through science. And you'll see sort of a similar layout, but much more deep for an older student. So still has the voice and the readability, but sort of less pronounced here. The final kind of core component here is an ebook library, and this is a thing that we've had a lot of requests for in recent years. As people are trying to really make sure that kids have a big, broad collection of books, not only for their schoolwork, but also just for reading and the ability to pick their own titles. And you can see we've got just amazing content here. So I'll just pick one. Why don't let's learn about a dime. And so from here, I can open up the ebook. And again, if we were in a classroom setting, you could have 30 kids simultaneously open this ebook, which is kind of a big deal.
By Alan Morey. Illustrations by Jennifer Bauer. Music by Dean Jones. Dimes are one.
I'll skip in a little bit.
Oh, look at my dime. It's a coin.
I won't put you through too much more of that. But lots of great books in here. And in the Capstone Connect environment, we've got over 4,500 ebooks. And then all of those Pebble Go articles. And so those are kind of the core platforms. Now, the other piece that we have here is the Capstone Connect teacher interface. And what the teacher interface allows me to do is either search by standard or title. And if I'm going to search by standard, I would just jump up here and let's pick Minnesota. Let's do science, and we will do second grade. And what you'll see is here are the Minnesota state standards for second grade science. And you can see it's very complete. And let's, I think we've been on an Earth and space kick. So we'll just jump in there on Earth and space. And what this is now doing is searching those 4,000 ebooks and all those articles to find some of those independence or interdependence within the Earth systems. And I can look at weather. And you can see here I've got an article, I've got a lesson plan, and I've got an ebook. So if I wanted to open that ebook, I can just click it. So if I'm in a symmetrical learning environment, whether I'm on a whiteboard or I'm wanting to launch it on a live Zoom, I can just click there and up comes the ebook. I can also jump over to clicking that Pebble Go article, and here's an article that meets that state standard, and I'm ready to go. The other thing I haven't really talked about is that there are over 1,500 lesson plans in here, and these lesson plans are tied to those ebooks. And they allow me to really bring an engaging lesson in based on that ebook that I can deliver to kids with very little pre-work. So I've got, all of my concepts. I've got literacy. I've got fluency. I've got the academic vocabulary all sort of tied in. So very high quality lessons and over 1,500 of those. And then the other interesting thing that we've got on the right-hand side here is I can copy these links. So, we're trying to engage and connect with kids, regardless of sort of the situation, whether it's live and in person or blended or remote learning, and also sort of allow our customers to build an asset library. So as teachers are engaging with this and maybe building lessons in Seesaw or in Canvas or in Google Classroom, this is a way for our content to be embedded very easily. And so to give you some example of that, I'm going to copy that link and I'm going to jump up to the to the chat. And I'm going to drop this in so everyone can kind of see what a student experience might look like. Let's see here. So here is me delivering you that link, and if everyone will take a moment and just click on it, it'll give you a sense of what the kids might experience on the other end. And this same link could be embedded into any of those tools, whether it's, Flipgrid or Canvas. You can just drop it right in. And those of you that are clicking the link, you'll notice that it's not asking you for a username or a password, and it's delivering you right to that item. And so what we're trying to do here is really streamline the process of delivery of content and make sure that that process for kids and for teachers is really easy. I'll go ahead and send you an ebook too, because I know you all want to learn about forecasting weather. So there you go. There's a forecasting weather ebook for you to read. So that's really what we're trying to do. It's very easy to sort of lose sense of the scale of this because we've tried to make it incredibly simple. But there are over 4,500 ebooks, 1,500 lesson plans, all of the quality. And you'll see I'm not following a script. I'm just clicking on stuff. I'm not scared of any of the content we have here. It all looks this good. So going back to the standards, we also have a search by title. And so we've been on weather. So let's keep on weather. And I can go in there and expand my search, and you can see here I've got 33 items that meet that criteria of weather. Now I've removed the sort of filter of grade level, so it's giving me a broader list of grades. But you'll see the same functionality here. I've got lots and lots of content, fiction and nonfiction, articles, ebooks, and lesson plans, and all of them have that same function of that copy link where I can drop it into whatever I'm building. And really try and help teachers find quality material that is legal to share, appropriate to share, and and can be embedded into whatever I'm doing. So we're not trying to change what people are doing. We're not trying to force anyone to go with a different method. We're trying to take what everyone is already doing in their school today and just make it easier for the teacher and more engaging for the student. So that's what I had to share today. Mackenzie, did I miss anything, or is there anything you'd want to add on what I've said?
I think you got it all. There's a lot of content out there. There's a lot of, you could never get it all, but there's a lot of great information out there, and it's a very robust program. I think you got it.
Great. Thanks, Mackenzie. And I should introduce Mackenzie. Mackenzie is the local Minnesota representative for Capstone. So many of you have worked with her. If not you, your partners in crime at the schools or your staff and peers. So thanks, Mackenzie.
Thank you.
Leilani, that's what I have. And I'm happy to take any questions or chat with anyone. And Leilani, I loved some of your thoughts on the shifting of space and time as it relates to classrooms. And it's really interesting to see how that's going to play out.
Yeah, and you pushed on a button that I think everybody really needs to pay a lot of attention to in education, which is, the traffic pattern of lesson planning, lesson distribution, getting to things. If you don't have a real quality user interface, user experience, which is what Chris is going to be speaking about here in a second on, attention to that, you lose kids. You need to even pay attention to things like, is the system you're using automated at the back end to have 404 redirects automatically? Because if a kid hits a page and gets a 404 error, they don't know what to do. Are they supposed to back up? They're like, what? They're lost. You don't recover them from that. So
I don't know what to do.
I don't know. Yeah. The quality of content is a big thing, but it's the journey through the digital landscape that is so important. And teachers are 74% on our survey in January, overwhelmed, burnt out. And so it's a little ridiculous to me that a lot of schools are still trying to OER their way to glory, Googling around, trying to build their stuff on Pinterest. I'm sorry, what are you doing? We didn't do that in the days of textbooks. We've atomized our content into little tiny bits. Every sixth grade teacher is using a different thing. How are you supposed to get statistics out of that? Like, what are you doing? So I'm a huge proponent and fan.
Thanks.
And thank you for doing what you're doing. You really brought a tool to market, which is super awesome. Okay, so I'm going to move on to Chris and screen share for you. Chris, I got a couple data points I'm going to throw out there for everybody and then lob you in. So I want to thank you guys from Capstone first. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Mackenzie. Fellow Minnesotan. You know, I grew up there.